Mic check, 1 2. 1 2, mic check. Hello, hello. Hey everybody, what's going on? Good afternoon. This is hashtag TNT JoeFi Tech News that Jerome Ortega finds interesting. I am your host, Jerome Ortega. This is episode something of TNT JoeFi, and this is day number something in quarantine. Guys, how's it going? Happy Monday. Good afternoon to people in the Midwest and the East Coast. Good morning to people on the West Coast, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to people all around the rest of the world. I am tired this afternoon. It's a late start, and it's kind of a dreary day, and it's just hopefully you guys are doing well. Hopefully you guys had a great weekend. We have a couple of things to talk about today. Let me say what's up to everybody in the chat. I see Y in here. Y 2019. Hi, Y. That rhymes. How's it going? Glad to see you. Y also says Pixel 5, according to this rumor, equals LG Velvet 2. Yeah, we'll see about that. Tobas Noah Jagu, what up, guys? What up, Tobas? How you doing, man? Nice to see you again. Welcome to the stream. Brian's in here as well. What up, Tech Fam? TNT JoeFi. What up, Brian? How's it going, man? Hamid Al Shamsi. Looking at the title, someone's going to be mad today. We'll see. I have my opinions on it, and we'll talk about it. And that was you who DM'd me, right, on Twitter? I think it was. Anyway, how's it going, man? Welcome to the stream. Tobas says here, why are you crying about the cost of the Pixel 5? First of all, I am not crying, but I'll give you my why am I wearing these? I'm not interviewing anyone today. I don't need these in here. Why are you crying about the cost of the Pixel 5? I'm not crying about it, but I have my opinions on it, and whether you agree with them or not is fine, but I will sit here and I will vent about it, and that's that. I mean, you know, what else can I say? Y says here, the Pixel 5 XL should be at max $599 for the starting price. I have a hard time disagreeing with that. I mean, I hear you on that. I mean, if it was up to me, it'd even be cheaper. Brian says here 7 series chip for not that much cheaper. Lonky Games, yo, what up, Lonky Games? How's it going, man? Appreciate you joining the stream. Nice to see you again. Hope you had a good weekend. And Brian says no quad DAC on the LG Velvet. What the fuck? Yeah, we're gonna kind of go into that. We're gonna talk about that. Hamed says, yeah, it was me. Okay, good. Just making sure. Paul Hendricks, hey Jerome, hey Paul, what's going on, man? Loving the. I just realized that your avatar is David Hasselhoff. What up, Paul? How's it going, man? Welcome to the stream. Glad you can make it. All right, guys, let's get started here. Let's talk about the Pixel 5. That is the main story for today. I actually don't have a ton of stories today. I am actually going through today's news as kind of off the cuff. I haven't had a chance to go through anything yet. Oh, okay. I see Damien Wadadli. Damien Wadadli. Am I saying that right? Wadadli, hopefully. Wait, where are we getting this new rumor from? The $500 or the $700 price point on the Pixel 5, or are we talking about the $350 price point on the Pixel 4a? Either way, I'll be talking about both of those today. But yeah, guys, I don't have a ton of stuff today. It is very Pixel heavy again, just because these rumors are coming out. Plus, the Pixel is one of my favorite phones that I'm looking forward to. You know, as much as I'm going to sit here and bitch about phones and bitch about Pixels, one of my favorite phones that I've been buying year over year is the Nexus lineup, is the Pixel lineup. And, you know, I do have very strong thoughts on it. And so I'm going to go through that. I see Ferris Natoir. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. And by the way, Damien and Ferris, both of you guys are Faris. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Welcome to the stream. Glad you guys can make it. I don't think I've seen either of you in here before. At this point in the rumor cycle, is this kind of leak usually solidified for the release of the phone? You know what? At this point, we don't know. The reason these leaks are coming is because of a potential or a survey that had come out to someone on Reddit. We're going to go through that. So we'll talk about that. As far as how what's the word of my how solid, you know, these rumors are, we don't know. You know, if anything, I'll just tell you, keep taking it with a grain of salt. These are rumors that I was very excited about on Friday because of Pixel 4a pricing at $350 with 128 gigs of internal storage is a price point that I think is unbelievable. Like, I was so surprised that Google would even that was even something part of the rumor mill. Now, this $700 price point for the Pixel 5, I'm not thrilled about. Other people might be. You know, I think let's get into that. I'm going to talk about that later. Anyway, guys, let's, I see Marcus in here as well. Marcus is saying if it's launching at $700 in a couple months after release, we could probably pick it up for $350 to $400. Marcus, you're not wrong. That's something that I would probably be doing as well. Knowing Google, knowing how they release a phone at X dollars, and then a month or 2 months later, it drops $100. It drops $200. Isn't surprising, and is another point of why I, you know, want to talk about it. You know, people might disagree with how I feel about prices, or, you know, why would you complain about it? Dude, you know what? If you want to listen to other people say that the prices are fine, you guys have 8 million outlets to do that on. You can find 8 million other people who will agree with you. I think otherwise. I still don't think phones should be priced at the prices that a lot of them are at. You know, $1,400 for a phone. Like, if you have the money for it, that's fine. If you want to sit here and be like, well, you're just poor. Well, that's fine. I am poor. I don't have a ton of money. Speaking of poor, Brian with the $1 super chat, which is very appreciated. So Brian, thank you so much for the $1 super chat. Thank you for continuing your streak of super chats. Always appreciated, man. Really appreciate all that you do as far as support, even moderating in chat, engaging with the community. Appreciate that, Brian. Thank you so much. Andrew KPW is here as well. Always miss your live streams. Well, you're not missing it right now. You're here right now. So Andrew KPW, thanks for making it, man. Appreciate you stopping by. Okay, guys, let's talk about this. And I will go back into chat and we'll discuss. And, you know, again, you guys don't have to agree with me. That's fine if you don't. that's the whole point of a community. That's the whole point of us sitting here and talking about it. And I'll give you my opinion. And yeah, this is my soapbox where I get to bitch about it. And it doesn't mean that your voices aren't being heard, because I go through you guys' chats. If you guys think I don't think about what you guys say, think about every single live stream that I do. I try to go through everybody. Everybody has a good point, and that's why I like to talk about it. So anyway, guys, let's talk about this. This article from Android Central is talking about how Google's Pixel 5 may ditch Project Soli and Motion Sense. Google seems set to drop a failed idea. So what you need to know: Google's Pixel 5 may ditch the Soli radar chip. Project Soli powered the motion sense feature of the Pixel 4 and 4 XL. It also drained battery and added little benefit to the phone's experience as a whole. I guess that's a fair question to ask you guys. For anyone who's had a Pixel 4, for anyone who's had a Pixel 4 out or Pixel 4 XL, how has Project Soli been for you? Has it been beneficial, or, like the article says here, has it added little benefit to your phone experience? For me personally, it hasn't done much for me. I really haven't seen much benefit from, this radar chip. Potentially it could get better, but if now they're going to drop it, then that means they're just going to completely ditch it again. So I don't know. We'll see. With the Pixel 4, Google brought a new feature, Motion Sense, to the Pixel line. Powered by the innovative Project Soli, Motion Sense added a layer of mystique to the Pixel 4. When it first came out, I was kind of looking forward to it, but there was also a part of me that was in the back of my head. I was like, I don't know if it's going to be as good as they say it is. And I feel like I wasn't wrong. You'd be able to control your phone from a distance. It's a fancy feature undercut by the inconvenient fact that a smartphone is 99% of the time located in your hand, but you have to give Google points for trying, I guess. With the Pixel 5, Google seems set to drop that feature, according to the folks over at 9 to 5 Google. As it stands, while Motion Sense is, quote, a nice to have gesture, it doesn't really add much that can't be accomplished by more conventional and convenient means. Earlier this year, Android Central's Harish Janalagada wrote, 3 months after its launch, Motion Sense is still limited in its capabilities. There isn't any compelling reason to use the feature, and that makes it all the more frustrating because it was due to Motion Sense that Google didn't launch the Pixel 4 in India. Actually, I didn't know that. So they didn't launch the Pixel 4 in India because of Motion Sense? I don't know, guys. I don't know how a lot of the phone sales operate outside of the US. So if someone can kind of fill me in why it wasn't used there because of that. But yeah, as far as Project Soli, as far as Motion Sense, I tried it, but it wasn't anything for me to keep around, and I ended up disabling it because I just felt like it was draining my battery. If I could have maybe used it for things to I've said this before. One of the things that I loved about my old Moto X was the fact that I could just wave my hand over the phone and it would show me the display, to let me know what time it was, to show me notifications. And even when I turned that gesture, or when I turned that feature back on my Pixel 4, it still didn't work as well as what the Moto X did. It just doesn't have that, that one particular sensor that let it know, yeah, a hand is waving over it, or, it just didn't work, at least to up to my standards. And that's all I really would have used it for. I don't use it to wave my hand over to next track, pause the track. I can't even use it to imagine if I could go like this or like that to raise the volume or scroll through a page while I'm cooking or something. But I got none of that. That's none of those features I was able to use with Project Soli. Not to think that it couldn't come in the future, but now if they're thinking about dropping it, what was all of this for? The real issue for Google here is that the firm's attempts to build a successful phone business has been a failure. That's a very straightforward, blunt statement. And it's hard to say that, they're not, they really aren't wrong there. A focus on esoteric software features, shipping phones with underpowered specs, and building awkward designs have led to the Pixel line underperforming in the market. A back to basics approach, as Google seems to want to do, is one option out of this rut. and maybe that's something that's going to happen. Oh, that's a pretty short article. So let's kind of continue on this article I have here from Droid Life. So they're talking about this Google survey, and well, part of the surveys in this article, I skimmed it real quick, but Google survey hints at a $349 Pixel 4 Pixel 4a and a $699 Pixel 5. The $350 price point for the Pixel 4a is something I covered on last Friday, and it was something I was really excited about, again, because if it comes at this $350 price point, it is, first of all, it's going to undercut the iPhone SE. Second of all, they were saying $350 with 128 gigs of internal storage, which was something out of left field. I did not expect $350 plus 128 gigs of internal storage on a Pixel 4a that would have a Snapdragon 730 chipset reportedly, that would have 6 gigs of RAM reportedly, which would still have the rear fingerprint reader, which would have a 3.5mm headphone jack. These are all great things, which would have stock Android and which would have a very close to Pixel 4 kind of camera, which means an excellent camera, all at $350. A phone that, I've said this, I would probably recommend to a lot of people, especially at that price point. But let's continue on. The next several months are going to be some of the most interesting for Google and its Pixel line, probably since the debut of the original. After 2 rough releases in a row, the Pixel 3 and Pixel 4 both flopped. Google saw a shakeup in its Pixel team and now might be preparing for a new approach that involves more competitive pricing. I guess a question that I have is, what's considered a flop? Because of the sales? I don't know. That's hard for me to swallow, because for me, I don't know if a phone flops just because of the sales. I could give 2 shits about sales. I don't care how many phones, an iPhone 11 Pro sold. I don't care how many phones a Samsung Galaxy S20 sold, S10, whatever. That shouldn't be an indicator of success or a flop. I mean, I guess it is, because we live in a capitalist society and whatever, but for me, whether or not a phone is successful or a failure is how it fares to the consumer and how well that overall experience is to the consumer. And again, you might disagree with me, but what I do here on my channel, what I do is I champion for, the consumer, for the person that wants to use their hard-earned money and spend it properly. That's why I do these camera comparisons, so you guys can see how these phones compare to each other. Well, and also because it's fucking interesting for me, so I do it. And I like to point those things out, and I like to share that with you guys, because I try to give as much of an unbiased review as I can. Anyway, a rumor last week suggested that the Pixel 4a might win the spring launch season with a $349 price tag, coupled with 128 gigs of storage when it shows up soon. Again, a great price. If you take a recent Google survey that popped up for a Redditor as a sign of things to come, Google might actually hit that price for the 4a while also delivering a cheaper regular Pixel 5 further down the road. If you guys are not familiar with these surveys, there's something that I don't know if it got popped up either because they use like Google opinion rewards or a survey that came up somewhere else. I haven't even seen the actual Reddit post for it, so maybe it's in here. It is. I got the survey this morning. Here's a screenshot, and it's pretty much talking about. So here's the survey. Let me switch this back into this part of the screen here, and let me. Damn it, wrong thing. I know it's very pixelated, but let's talk about it here. So this survey that this Redditor got is, which one would you rather pick? And you can see here, $350 or $700. That's where these prices came up. For $350, a radically helpful phone from Google with a durable plastic body, includes a 3.5mm headphone jack, $350. Or $700, a premium Google Pixel phone, the best flagship Google phone, first access to the latest Google features and innovation, best-in-class camera, wireless charging, and water resistance. So those are the things that survey is what came up. That's where these price points came about. As far as 128 gigs of internal storage, I think that was something that was leaked on either 9to5 Google. I can't remember exactly, but let's continue on. And now that you guys know where these prices came from. So The survey, which you can see below, asks the participant if they had two options of Google Pixel smartphones, which would they prefer to buy? The first option is for a $349 Google Pixel phone that is radically helpful. Blah, blah, blah. We read all of these already. Or, a best-in-class camera, water resistance, and more for $699. Neither phone has a name in the survey, but again, recent rumors have suggested, it did say a Google Pixel phone at the top of it. So while it's not that, while it didn't say Pixel 5 or Pixel 4a, why would they be talking about an older Pixel phone? In case you missed it, the Pixel 5 might feature a Snapdragon 765G, or as I've reported last week, there are rumors that maybe it'll come with a Snapdragon 768G, which, according to the articles that I read, is an overclocked 765G. And that's the one I'm hoping they're going to put in the Pixel 5, because we've talked about this before. The Pixel 5 is most likely not going to have a, oh shit, I have new members. I'm going to go through that in a second, guys. Guys, thank you so much. I noticed it pop up on my screen, but real quick, I will get into that in a second, because I do want to always kind of mention these things out. But the Pixel 5 most likely is not going to get the Snapdragon 865 chipset, because one, it's going to apparently cost Google too much money, and then it's in turn going to cost the consumer too much money. Really, how I feel about it is Google's not going to make as much profit, so let's put the cheaper one in there so people aren't going to bitch about the price and we still get to make our money, which, whatever. I could be wrong. Maybe that's not what they're doing, but And anyway, guys, real quick intermission here. I do want to thank two new members I'll explain the membership. So Andrew KPW became a new YouTube member, who is how this works is a member of my channel, and I'll go into that real quick. But Andrew KPW, thank you so much, man. Thank you for being a member. Thank you for joining the Phone Jerome team. Now you have access to, you'll get that red Chicago star next to your name. You get that badge. You get to use custom emoji, and I'm going to add your name on the intros and outros to every single one of my live streams. And Ronaldo De Leon is also a YouTube member. Guys, thank you so much. Actually, for you two to join, that gives me an extra emoji that I can add onto it. So now, because the way it works, the way this membership works is the more members I get, the more emoji I get to add on. So like every 5 or 10 new members, I get to add a new emoji. So I get to add another new one, because I know it told me I had one new member. I had one more member to add on there. Anyway, real quick, guys, Ronaldo, Andrew KPW, guys, thank you so much for being a member of the Phone Jerome squad team, whatever you want to call it. Real quick, if you guys want to be a member, you can do so for as little as 99 cents a month. All you have to do is you can click this join button, and you get that red Chicago star next to your name. You get to use custom emoji, and you'll get your name on the intros and outros of all of my live streams. You also have the opportunity to pick different tiers, but you can do so even at 99 cents a month. And that's just the way to support me. And you can just click that join button, or you can go to youtube.com/Phone Jerome/join. Guys, thank you so much. Thank you for being a part of the team. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you. Thank you again for the support. Okay, let's get back into this article again real quick. So, okay, let me continue on again. Just so I can kind of figure out where I lost my place here. The Pixel 5, they're talking about a $700 price point, but not with an 865 chipset. So it's not going to be the highest end model, but I'm going to go into why I still disagree that a $700 price is still not $700 for a Pixel 5 with a Snapdragon 700 series chipset is not there. That is too expensive. I think it's too expensive. If you don't think it is, that's fine. You guys get to vote with your wallet. You do. If you think it's worth it, then you pay that money. And we have yet to see if it's going to be worth it. We don't know. We don't know how good the camera is going to be. We don't know how good this chipset's going to be. But let's continue on with this article here. So this change in approach could be seen as a move towards a more affordable Google flagship that includes the specs most people want without the $1,000 price tags we keep seeing from Samsung, Apple, and now OnePlus. We brought up the $700 We brought up the $700 price point for Google a couple of months ago as a way for the company to get weird and change from this losing course they have been on for the past couple of years. I tend to think that Google leaving the super high-end smartphone world would be a good thing and should instead find a space in between, sort of where OnePlus used to play, but has since vacated. There aren't many excellent phones in the $700 range outside of the previous year's models. This could be an excellent opportunity for Google to slide in and make a new name for itself with phones. But again, this was a single survey and we don't even know if Google ran it. Oh, shit. Well, we don't even know if Google ran it, so who knows? It could have been Verizon testing waters on which phones to carry for all we know. Those prices have to get you excited though, right? And yeah, they have been, the $350 price point is an exciting price point for me for the Pixel 4a. If that is the case, if it is going to be $350 with 128 gigs of internal storage, I will be buying that on day one. And I'll be testing out the camera and seeing how close it resembles to the Pixel 4. I'll finally get to see what a Snapdragon 730 chipset is like. And, you know, I'll give you guys my thoughts. But here's the thing. Here's how I feel about this Pixel 5, right? A Pixel 5 at $700. We have to think about this because there are a lot of ways around this. A Pixel 5 at $700, again, is using a 765 chipset or 768. And how close in performance will that be to the Pixel 4a? Why would somebody spend $700 over $350 when you can get something that's going to be very comparable? The only way this Pixel 5 is really going to kill it this year is with its camera. It has to take that, and I say this a lot, guys. It has to take the crown back from the iPhone 11 Pro and now the upcoming iPhone 12 and iPhone 12 Pro. And here is where I will segue into that. The iPhone 12 is reportedly coming out at a $650 price point. $650, guys. That's cheaper than this $700 reported price of a Pixel 5. Are you guys following me here? An iPhone 12 at $650 is going to come. Apparently, it's going to be coming with an OLED display. It's going to have the new A14 Bionic chipset. So it's going to have an even faster chipset, something that's going to easily outperform whatever Snapdragon 700 series chipset they put in the Pixel 5 easily. Performance-wise, it's going to destroy it. And then as far as support and longevity, it's going to destroy it there too, because it's going to have the best chipset. I mean, I'm not saying that the 765G or 768G isn't going to be worthwhile a year from now, but how is that going to fare 2 years from now or 3 years from now? If you switch up phones every 2 or 3 years, then that's something that you might not have to worry about. Like, I mean, what's the big deal then, right? But still, imagine paying more for a phone that, and who knows how the camera's going to be. Guys, in 2019, the iPhone 11 Pro, the iPhone 11 had a better main shooter than the Pixel 4. Can you imagine spending more money on a Pixel 5, knowing that an iPhone 12 is going to beat it in terms of its camera? That's why I'm saying that's why the Pixel 5 has to kill it this year. That's why I still do not agree with a $700 price point. Do you guys know that a Snapdragon 765 chipset does not outperform a Snapdragon 845? So think about the phones that come with the Snapdragon 845, a OnePlus 6, right? A OnePlus 6T. Those phones will probably outperform a new Pixel 5 in terms of performance. I mean, I could be wrong, maybe not, but I think the last I checked, a Snapdragon 845 chipset will still outperform whatever Snapdragon 765 comes out. It'll outperform the LG Velvet. And I think when you think in those terms, why is $700 a fair price? It doesn't sound like a fair price to me. You can go ahead and you can add water resistance. You can talk to me about the display and 90 hertz and 120 hertz, but I don't know, maybe I'm in a different category where that isn't my main priority. My main priority is performance, so I don't have lag, so that I can use it a couple years down the road. I think that should be higher. You know, in terms of priority, I think the camera should be priority. I think the battery should be priority. And when you're pricing it at something that high, that is just something that's hard for me to swallow. It really is hard for me to swallow. I know that I I do. I sit here and I bitch about the prices of phones a lot. I really do. And I just feel like I do that because I don't feel like a lot of other people do. Maybe they do now, maybe they do with $1,000 phones, but you want to be competitive in the flagship department. The Pixel 5 has to bring it this year. They have to bring it this year. They can't, be lazy about it and say, well, we're working on a chip, guys. So, the Pixel 5 is going to be a mediocre phone. Like, fuck that. There are a lot of loyal Nexus fans. There are a lot of loyal Pixel fans. And to release a Pixel 5 that's going to be kind of a watered down version that you're still going to charge $700 for, I think that's an insult. That's an insult to the consumer. And then you're just going to get a lot of shit from reviewers and tech pundits and articles releasing stuff. That is what, for me, is really what relegates whether or not a phone is successful or a flop. Fuck the sales. Who gives a fuck about the sales? I don't know who's in this chat who cares about how many phones were sold in quarter 4, quarter 3. Who gives a fuck about how, like, unless you're a shareholder and you guys got some deep pockets or you have some vested interest in the stock price or whatever. Like, I'm not that guy. I can't afford that shit. I don't give a fuck about that. None of that is important. The fucking stock market is fucking, dude, we work hard for our money and we deserve a good phone. We really do. I don't know. It's if they want to be competitive, I can't see a $700 price point being the starting price of a phone here. That is a $300 or a $350 gap. If we're talking $350 for a Pixel 4a and a Pixel 5, why? I have a feeling, what's going to happen? People are going to look and they're going to be like, imagine when they're shopping for a phone and they're like, well, why can't I just buy a Pixel 4a then for $350? I just want a good camera, a good battery. Why is this phone, double the price? Why is it double the price? And what is your argument there? Well, the chipset's a little better, a little bit, not a lot. And it has water resistance. I don't know. Is the Pixel 5 even going to have a fingerprint reader? Probably not. And here's the thing. They're going to get rid of Project Soli, or if they're going to get rid of Project Soli, guys, you got to remember Project Soli was also one of the reasons that Face Unlock helped it to unlock a little bit faster, or at least assisted in that department. And if it doesn't, I don't know. I'm having a hard time swallowing the price of $700. I just don't think it should be priced at. I'm that optimist that says that it should be priced at $500. That's how I feel like it's going to do. But you know what? I mean, I'll take $599. I'll take $599. If the Pixel 4a is going to be $350, price it at $549. I'll take it at $549. I don't know. $599 is maybe the top end of it. And I can't remember who said it in the chat here, but I don't know. Again, that's my opinion. That's how I feel about it. You guys don't have to agree, but who doesn't want to pay a better price for a phone, especially in such a competitive market today, right? Where the iPhone SE is pricing at $399, and now Google wants to double down and they want to be competitive. And if the rumors are correct and they want to price their Pixel 4a at $350, why not price the Pixel 5 at something competitive? Bring those competitive days back. Bring the reason why I got into Pixel phones and Nexus phones in the first place back. I don't know. There really isn't much more to say on that. Okay, guys, let me go into chat again. Guys, thank you. Oh shit, I have another Paul Hendricks became a YouTube member. Paul, thank you so much, man. Appreciate you being a member. Paul, you're also a patron, dude. You don't have to do both. I mean, I think there's a little more benefit here being a YouTube member. But Paul, thank you so much. Thank you for the support. Appreciate it, dude. That's 3 new members today, guys. Thank you for joining the squad, the team, the crew, whatever you want to call it. Thank you for being a part of the Phone Jerome, whatever you want to call this membership. Thank you so much, Paul. Thank you for the support. Really, really appreciate it. Okay, guys, let me scroll up here. Let me see what you guys are talking about. Again, I'm not going to be able to go through all of the chats, so just appreciate you guys stopping by. Hopefully you guys are able to just chat with each other as well. Donovan is saying, Soli has been great on battery life for me. I've tried it both on and off, and I didn't ever notice any effect on battery for my use case. Most days I still get home from work at 5 at 75% battery. How much screen on time are you getting? Do you have the 4 or the 4 XL? Because I get nowhere near 75% after a full day. I mean, I'm lucky if I'm getting 4.5 hours of screen on time, but I have a Pixel 4 and I've turned things off like digital well-being, even always on display. And sometimes I still struggle through it. I see Sean in here as well. Sean, what up? What up, Sean? How's it going, man? Glad you could make it to the stream. Google's on their bullshit again. I just, you know what? I just want Google to do well. I want them to kill it. I want them to be competitive, and I want to see them have a good phone at a competitive price and have them really have their hand in the market. But, you know, I can only do so much. I just sit here on my soapbox and I bitch about it. So that's all I can do. I can't really sway Google one way or another. Okay, so let's see here. Sorry guys, I'm just going down the chat here. Tova says here, I heard that the LG Velvet does not have a headphone jack. No, I thought they do. I'm pretty sure it's somebody confirm. I'm pretty sure even in the commercial spots and stuff, there's a headphone jack. I'm pretty sure. I know the Quad DAC, that's another story, and we're going to get into that, so we'll see. So let's see. Andrew saying, just like the OnePlus 8 Pro, it's selling well, but the display issues are cringy. Yeah, I hear you, man. Ronaldo saying they need to sell the Pixel 5 base at $599 and Pixel 5 XL at $699. Again, I can't argue with that price. I really can't. I hear you on there. Marcus is saying solely could have been that quote thing that makes the Pixel line stand out in a crowd of black slabs. Investment into their ideas would take real quote courage. Yeah, I just, you know, the hard part is to see Google create something, try to get it going, and then see them drop it. And then when you see it happen over and over and over again, and I'm not just talking about the phone stuff, I'm talking about their product line, their software stuff. And that's actually something that I was going to talk about today. But, you know, a lot of their projects that they're working on, you know, Google is a big company and they do a ton of stuff. And I understand that they want to try to bring things out that are, you know, innovative and things that people haven't done before, but you got to have some kind of mainstream, there has to be some kind of consistency. There really does. And I think that's the part that gets a little frustrating. Damien is saying that LG Velvet does have a headphone jack. That's what I thought. I was assuming. Shocksum is in here too. Shocksum, welcome to the stream, man. Welcome to the chat. Guess I'm late. You're all good, man. If you want to watch the first half of that, definitely replay crew. Android stud Leo, what's going on, man? What's up, brother? Hashtag Team Pixel. What's going on, Leo? Nice to see you, man. Glad you can make it. Andrew says here, regarding Android phones, I would take the OnePlus over the Pixel, but seeing how the OnePlus 8 series is now, I would like to see the Pixel 4a. I hear you. And so that's another point to make too, is think about this. If the Pixel 5 priced at $700, think about people who don't really care about the camera as much, and the fact that you could get a OnePlus 7T right now for $500. That's going to have a chipset in there that's going to outperform whatever this Pixel 5 is going to have. I mean, so if performance is more important for you, you know, and price is more important to you, you're talking about something that's going to be $200 cheaper if they price the Pixel 5 at $700. There's a lot of point and counterpoints to put here. I'm just trying to make it as transparent as possible so you guys know what's going on. Okay, so Enforce is saying $700 is too much. Yeah, I agree, man. I'm on the same boat. Hold on, I'm trying to pronounce this. Zirshik? I'm probably butchering that. No Mark Lavoie on the board equals no Pixel. Okay, let me kind of chime in on this. I know people have talked about this, and I made a video about this as well, or at least I talked about I talked about this on my stream with Mark Lavoie. If you guys aren't familiar about what we're talking about here, Mark Lavoie was one of the main people behind the Google Pixel's camera, and I think had a big hand, or maybe had an entire hand when it came to night sight and portrait mode on the Google Pixel. Maybe not just him. There's probably a good team behind it, and he left. and a GM that did the Google hardware, or at least the Pixel hardware. He left as well. So two big names left. And a lot of people were really wondering, man, Mark Lavoie leaving, what's going to happen with the Google Pixel's camera? And the way I feel about it is, yes, Mark Lavoie was an integral part of the Google Pixel's camera, and I'm sure him leaving is going to be a big dent in just where the Google Pixel's camera is going to go from here on out. Like, who knows how good the Pixel 5's camera is going to be, right? And who knows how good it's going to be from here on out, the Pixel 6, the Pixel 7, so on and so forth. But I still think Google has a good team behind it. And I'm sure that the engineering team and whoever is working on the computational photography, I feel like they still have a good core within that department. I hope so. I guess we won't know until, the Pixel 5 comes out and we see how the camera samples are, and until I get my hands on it and I can compare it to the iPhone 12, or if I can even compare the new Pixel 5's camera to what the iPhone 11 is going to be. Is it going to beat the iPhone 11 in night? Because that's what I'm hoping for. But I guess we'll see. I know Mark Lavoie was a big name and he played a big part, but I feel like Google probably still has a good team together, and I still think they can do good things. hopefully we'll see. Okay, gets this. Hey, gets this. Welcome to the stream, man. Welcome to the chat. Nice to see you again. iPhone 12 650, the Pro 750. I think I'm back on team iPhone again. Well, the Pro won't be 750. The Pro will be $1,000, but the iPhone 12, if the rumors are correct, I think the iPhone 12 will be $650, which I think is a very competitive price. And again, is one of my big points about why the Pixel 5 probably shouldn't be $700. Like, if the iPhone 12 is going to be $650, the Pixel 5 shouldn't be $700. If they want to maybe meet in the middle and be $650, maybe. But I wish I'm hoping it'll be even cheaper than that. Jonathan Paulin is saying a Snapdragon 765G is about as powerful as an 835 from 2017. So I don't know if that's, I don't know if that benchmarking is 100% accurate, but it also doesn't surprise me. That's why I was saying a Snapdragon 845 will probably outperform a 765G. A Snapdragon 845 will probably outperform, maybe even just by a little, a Snapdragon 768G. So that's something to think about. Again, guys, it might not be bad at first, but imagine how that phone might affect you a year from now, or 2 years from now, or 3 years from now. I'm not saying that it will. It might work perfectly. I'm just saying it's something to consider. It's something to think about, especially when there are a lot of people who own a phone for more than 2 years or 3 years. Look at the people in the iPhone camp. There are people who own phones there for 5 years, and they still get that support over those years. And who knows who knows where that's going to go when it comes to the Pixel lineup. I mean, 3 years is what they promise you, but think about the Pixel 3a. Think about how that Pixel 3a is going to perform 3 years from now. What is it, a year old now? So think about that phone 2 years from now and how well that's going to perform. I'm not saying that it won't. I'm just saying that it might be on its last legs, at that point. Okay. Frank the Ant. Hey, Frank the Ant. I don't think I've seen you in here before. Welcome to the stream, man. Are we sure the new iPhone would be that cheap? No, we're not sure. That's the rumor, just as much as the rumor of the Google Pixel 4a being $350, as much as the rumor of the Google Pixel 5 being $700. We don't know for sure. So, again, I said this earlier on the stream, take it with a grain of salt, but I think it is at least something to have a conversation about, and, something to hope for in the future, that these prices stick to where they're at. The $400 price point is a competitive market again, and I just want them to do well in that market. Sorry guys, I'm going through this. Gets this says, gosh, I miss the Nexus 6P. This one, this Nexus 6P, do you see how worn my Nexus 6P is here? I've kept this Nexus phone because it is still one of my favorites. It's one of my all-time favorite phones that I've ever had in my lineup. And I was actually on Swappa recently because I was looking at OnePlus 6s because I had the red OnePlus 6 and that was also one of my favorite phones of all time. I wish I never sold that. And I was actually looking because I'm like, I would buy that phone again just for nostalgia's sake. And like kind of, I would love to have a little collector's bin of like my favorite phones. The OnePlus 6 was one of my favorite. The Nexus 6P was one of my favorites. And that might be something I might start doing is have a collection of my favorite phones. Okay, so let me scroll down here. Sorry, guys. Again, I'm not going to be able to go through everything. I see Deepak in here too. Deepak Murthy. Hey, Deepak, nice to see you, man. I don't think I've seen you in the stream before. Appreciate you stopping by. iPhones are tough to beat. iPhone 11 low light performance is amazing. It is. And Deepak, if you haven't seen my camera comparisons, maybe you have. My iPhone 11 Pro has been beating the Pixel 4 in terms of low light performance. And that's why I've said this and I'll say it again. The Pixel 5 needs to kill this year in the camera department. It needs to beat the low light performance of the iPhone 11 and it needs to beat the iPhone 12 to justify its price point. It really does. Okay. Scrolling down. Sorry, guys. Why 2019? The use of flagship and premium, while sometimes not used for actual flagships, as it was used to market a Moto E6, a low end. It seems like from the wording, the 5 could use an 855 plus maybe. Why? So as much as I would love, here's something that's interesting to talk about too, guys, is let's talk about why a Pixel 5 won't be using a Snapdragon 855 chipset or an 855 plus, or hell, even an 845. The reason that the Google Pixel 5 won't use it is because they want to promote 5G, because 5G is that like stupid marketing gimmick that people want to put on us, even though it's not ready yet. I had a whole rant about that earlier last week, about 5G and how 5G is a bunch of bullshit right now. It's something that we shouldn't be paying for. And they're fucking the consumer with 5G because now they're going ahead and they're going to put a 765 chipset in there when they could use a year-old 800 chipset instead, right? And that's the reason they won't use it, because then they can't say that it's not. Then they can't say the Pixel 5 is a 5G phone. So in order to work that loophole or whatever, they're going to use the 765G. They're going to use the 768G. Then they'll say 5G, guys. Everyone's using 5G, even though we're in quarantine right now and we can't leave our fucking houses. 5G. So I would love to see them use an 855. I would love to see them use an 855 plus. That would make me so happy, but they're not going to use it. I'm almost positive they're not going to use it. I see Outplayed in here as well. Outplayed. While my 6P worked great, pictures still compete with new phones, but that battery swelled and it boot looped and I got $325 for it. Hey, at least you got that lawsuit money, right? Is that where you got that $325? I'm assuming. Yeah, I'm one of the lucky ones that it didn't boot loop. And maybe it will one of these days, but right now that phone is still running the way it should. We'll see how long that lasts. Andrew KPW, what do you think of the new Poco? Which one? The F2 Pro? I think the price is pretty good. I know it's a lot more than what the original Poco F1 came at. It has really good specs on it, but I'm waiting to see if I could mod that, because I don't want to use the skin on it. But I think at the price point, it's pretty good. It'll make it competitive because, you're talking about high-end specs at a much cheaper price than a lot of these other phones are coming out at, but we'll see. Selwonk, welcome to the stream. Welcome to the chat. Pixel 5 will never get a wide angle lens. You don't think the Pixel 5 is going to get an ultra wide this year? I feel like they're going to have to, because they're going to get so much shit for it again if they don't. It better come with an ultra wide. I don't know. Maybe it won't. We'll see. Why 2019? Also, the Dimensity 820 was announced. Yeah, apparently the Dimensity 820 is a mid-range chipset, right? That will be competing with, I think the Dimensity 820 will be something that'll be competing with the Snapdragon 765 or something like that. I think that's what I've read. Let's see here. Deepak says 5G sub 6 may become popular in 2021. Millimeter wave is still in its infancy. Maybe the new iPhone 12 will make 5G more popular. Deepak, these are great points. If anybody will get 5G rolling, it'll be Apple with the iPhone 12. That will really get people to start deploying it properly. But right now, yeah, a lot of it is in its infancy, millimeter wave especially. And for companies to charge more or whatever, I just think it's a bunch of shit. So, okay, guys, I think that's all I have as far as Pixel stuff. If you guys want to keep chatting about it, guys, feel free to do so. I'll try to stop and read everything I can. Not everything I can. There's only so much. And God, I didn't realize just talking about the Pixel 5 and 4a was going to take 50 minutes. But let's go ahead and let's talk about a couple other stories I have here. I probably won't be able to get to all of them today, but okay, so this is a continuation still, and I guess we'll talk a little more. So this article from Android Central is talking about the Pixel 4a. Forget the iPhone SE. The Pixel 4a is looking like the 2020 phone to beat. Here's the handset that has me excited, and this is what got me excited on Friday. This is what I talked about for a good length on Friday. Whenever a new iPhone is announced, it's met with a great deal of hype and excitement. That's just a fact. No matter if the particular model is completely revolutionary or just a modest year-over-year improvement, it gets a spotlight that seldom Android phones do. This exact thing happened when the iPhone SE was unveiled back in mid-April. Everyone clamored to talk about how great and amazing the phone was. Heck, we even gave it a great deal of praise and said that it basically just killed the Pixel 4a and other value flagships. That's a good take. That's a good take and one with a lot of merit, but the more and more I thought about it, the less I'm sure I personally agree with it. It's true that the current state of budget Android phones leaves a lot to be desired compared to the iPhone SE. Motorola's Moto G handsets are only promised one major OS update. Samsung's new Galaxy A51 is a laggy mess, and so on. However, as we continue to learn about Google's upcoming Pixel 4a, I think the iPhone SE should be worried. And I agree. With the price point, with the internal storage, if those rumors are correct, I think that the Pixel 4a will give the iPhone SE a run for its money. Without a doubt, the biggest advantage of the iPhone SE is its A13 Bionic processor. I agree. It's the same chip found in the iPhone 11 Pro, and this results in two big advantages: incredibly fast performance and at least 5 years of reliable software updates. The folks at XDA recently shared benchmark results for the Pixel 4a's processor, giving us an idea of what we can expect from the phone in the performance department. I won't bore you with all of the nitty gritty, but the too long didn't read is that the Pixel 4a is really, really good. Great. Its Snapdragon 730 chipset looks to offer a 35 to 36 performance increase over the Pixel 3 and 3a, according to Antutu, along with a mention that PUBG Mobile runs on the phone at high graphics without any issues. Again, great to see, great to hear. I just, to know that the Pixel 4a will give the iPhone SE a competitive run is exciting for me. It may not be as technically capable as the iPhone SE's A13 Bionic chip, but looking at these results, the Pixel 4a should be able to open apps quickly, play games, and offer a generally smooth experience. For the vast majority of people, that's all they need. And I also agree. They don't care about clock speeds, benchmark scores, or anything of that nature. Assuming both the iPhone SE and Pixel 4a are fast devices that do everything you ask of them without any issues, what's the real advantage of the A13? Software updates? Getting 5 years of support on the iPhone SE is unmatched in the smartphone market, but Google's promise of at least 3 years of updates is, in my opinion, good enough. Not to sound like a Google apologist, but if you buy a Pixel 4a and keep it for 3 years, you're more than getting your money's worth out of it. I also agree with that statement. I really do. And I'm not going to go through this entire article, but like, think about, this is a question I'm sure a lot of people will ask me as time goes on, and people have even asked already. But when you think about an iPhone SE at $400, and then you think of a Google Pixel 4a at $350 with 128 gigs of internal storage, that's already where it wins. It's already winning in that price department. And that's not even to talk about that the fact that the iPhone SE is 64 gigs of internal storage at $400. So if you want to even make it more fair, then we need to talk $450, because $450 is the price point for a 128 gig internal storage iPhone SE. So now you're talking $100 difference. So $350 versus $450, and the Google Pixel 4a, if that's the price it comes at, already has the iPhone SE beat in the price department. Yes, the iPhone SE will beat it in performance, right? It'll have the A13 Bionic chipset. It'll be the best performance. It will also beat it in terms of longevity and support, right? So the iPhone wins there, but again, at a higher price point. But if the 730 chipset is going to be serviceable enough where it can actually perform and do what you need it to do, most people aren't going to think about performance as much. But I could be wrong. Maybe it'll be a laggy mess, and hopefully it won't be. So we'll see where that goes. But display wise, the Pixel 4a will beat the iPhone SE in terms of display. It's going to have a better display. Yes, it's going to have the hole punch notch, but I think in terms of design, in terms of a modern aesthetic, the Pixel 4a has that beat. I mean, it looks nicer than what the Pixel 4 looks like right now, at least from the renders that I'm seeing. It's going to have a rear fingerprint reader, which is going to match Touch ID in terms of like security and how well you can like unlock your phone. But you're going to have the fingerprint reader in the back, and it's not going to be, being in the way of the display, right? You're not going to have fat bezels on the top and the bottom that the iPhone's going to give you. Battery wise, the battery is going to beat, the iPhone SE, at least I'm assuming, on the Pixel 4, or the Pixel 4a will beat the iPhone SE in terms of battery. And then the camera. Let's not forget the camera. It's going to have the best at that price point, $350. Come on, $350, 128 gigs of storage, better camera than the iPhone SE. It's going to beat the iPhone SE in a lot of departments. It's not going to beat it in all the departments, but it now has a very competitive edge. It has a good fighting chance against the iPhone SE. And I'm not talking about sales, guys, because again, I've told you this before. I don't give a fuck about sales. Who gives a fuck about sales? If you guys are in the chat here who look at the sales numbers, why? Why does that matter to you? That should not matter to you. It shouldn't be, especially if you're just talking about wanting a good phone with a good experience and getting the best for your money. Who cares how many phones Apple sells, right? What does that matter? What does that matter at the end of the day for you in terms of your experience? And just so you have bragging rights, nobody gives a fuck. Like for people who care too much about that, dude, you have, there are other things to worry about in this world than that. But yeah, the Pixel 4a won't be perfect. It's not going to have dust and water resistance. So build quality is not going to be the same at all. Android Stud was on my stream on Friday, and he made a good point. And he was a little worried that the build quality might not be good on the 4a because he was saying that the build quality wasn't the best on the 3a. So that's something to keep in mind, right? These are things to at least keep in the back of your head. So if you do get a 4a, you might want to invest in a case. And I'm that kind of person that doesn't buy cases at all. I don't buy cases. I run my phones naked. Actually, I will have to interject. You know what sucks is I have a Pixel 4, and I have like really bad streaks on my Pixel 4. And I think it's because of the oleophobic coating wore off, and it looks fucking ugly on my Pixel 4. My iPhone 11 Pro isn't as bad, but now I feel like I need to start buying tempered glass. That's something I talked about with Will. Will's usually in my chat, but I need to probably buy tempered glass and put that on my Pixel 4, because every time I clean my Pixel 4, it still has slight streaks on it. But as soon as I start using it and my fingerprints get all over it, it looks fucking ugly. And that's something that Google probably needs to work on, is the oleophobic coating. I don't know if you guys have Pixel 4s, but any of you that do, I don't know if you've noticed if your screens are worse or better or whatever. But something to take a look at. I need to buy tempered glass though, and that's something I'm going to eventually, I got to look into that. Anyway, continuing on. Yeah, I think, again, I'm not going to read through this whole article because it's pretty long, but I think the Google Pixel 4a is going to be, for people that love iPhones and want a good deal, the iPhone SE is a great deal. It's an excellent deal for iPhone people. But and this is me showing my Google bias. I think I would rather have a Google Pixel 4a than an iPhone SE. I really do. I might eat those words when I test that processor, that chipset, and it doesn't perform well. Here's the thing. The only way that I will say that the iPhone SE will be better is if I start experiencing lag on the Pixel 4a. Then I'm going to say, fuck, I can't. It's going to be hard for me to recommend unless you're a light user. Because if you're a medium to heavy user, it's going to be a tough sell for me, especially if performance is important to you. If camera's more important to you and you're a light user, then the Pixel 4a is going to be fucking excellent. It's going to be a great phone for people, but we'll see. Let me just see how much, because this is, I think it's a long, no, it's not a long article. Okay. I'll just kind of finish it off here. So given all that, what does the iPhone SE have going for it? An LCD display with huge bezels, a lightning charging port, and no headphone jack. Unless you like the sound of all that, the Pixel 4a comes out on top. Minimal bezels, USB-C charging. So tell me again, why are we excited about the iPhone SE? I already gave you those examples. Again, this is a different take on it, and I can understand his points of view as well. I know why it's an iPhone that costs $399, but again, I already talked about that. If you want to even compete, if the Pixel 4a comes out at $350 with 128 gigs of internal storage at $350, it already has the iPhone SE beat by $100. And if that's not a leading factor already, I don't know what is. That's fine and well, but if you're someone who's a bit more platform agnostic and are just concerned with getting the most value for your money, I don't see how the iPhone SE beats anything we've seen for the Pixel 4a. Well, I already told you what it beats it in, right? And he's talked about it. Performance, build quality, longevity and support, has that beat. Wireless charging, I guess some of those other extra specs that are in it. And I think the one thing I didn't point out is Android for the Pixel 4a, the customization part of it, the ability to do more on an Android than you can on an iPhone. The one thing that I bitch about on the iPhone all the time is its UI. It's something that I have a hard time messing with, and it's such a sore spot for me because I can't even put the icons away. I got to have a goddamn iPhone on the very top of my iPhone 11 Pro that I have a hard time reaching for unless I'm using two hands. And they're never going to change that because it's an iPhone, and they're very proprietary that way. They want people to be familiar with it, that's how it works, and it's not going to change, and it's what we have. And that's all fine and dandy, but that's another plus for Android. That's another one in the books for Android, at least. Okay, let me get into chat here. Let me say hi to everybody else. Let me scroll up a bit. I see Big House Productions in here. Big House, how's it going, man? Hey, what's up, guys? What's up, Big House? Nice to see you, man. Glad you could make it. Glad you could stop by. Ramim Vlogs is in here as well. Ramim, how's it going? Glad to see you. I am not going to buy Pixel 5 this time. What are you going to? I was going to it's in your next one here. I will grab the Pixel 4a over the iPhone SE, definitely. There you go. Pixel 4a. And that's the thing, and that's exactly what I was talking about, Ramim. I was saying this earlier. That's a tough sell for people. If you're looking to buy a new phone, and if the Pixel 4a is going to be $350 and the Pixel 5 is going to be $700, you are going to have a tough time convincing someone to buy a Pixel 5 at $700 when they can look at the Pixel 4a and be like, well, why is this $350? I could save $350. Why is the Pixel 5 so much more? What more does it have that will beat it? And again, that has yet to be seen. I have yet to see how well the camera is going to do. I have yet to see how much better the battery is, how much better the performance is going to be. Yeah, it's going to have dust and water resistance. It's going to have wireless charging, but it really has to show double the price. If Google is going to double the price on that, it's going to be a tough sell. It really has. Big House Production says it has a TCL 10 Pro Beat 2. It does. And you know what, Big House, I was, this is another conversation to have, but I actually have a TCL 10 Pro coming to me. I don't know if it's coming this week, but I think it's coming. And, I'm one of those guys that it's like, yeah, I have one coming to me, and it's a product that's coming free, which is great. But just I've had free products before. LG has given me free phones. Motorola has given me free phones. Google has given me free phones. And you want to hear the shitty part is once they start talking about phones, and if I have something bad to say about it, sometimes I never see a phone from them again, which is fine. I'm fine with that because I have the one thing that I will never stop doing is being honest about how I feel about phones. And I think that's fair for my audience. That's fair for anybody who watches my videos, is that I'm unbiased. Like, yes, do I have a bias? Yeah. Like, I love Google. I want to see Google do well, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to call shit out when I see it. And the thing about the TCL 10 Pro is $450 is a great price point, but you're paying $450 for a Snapdragon 600 chipset. It's hard for me to recommend a phone to somebody given the fact that you're going to be paying that much money for a 600 series chipset, because I just don't know how well that's going to perform. I guess we'll see when I get it. I mean, I had a Moto G7 that Mike, Simply Your Device, he's another tech YouTuber. Mike let me borrow his G7, and Mike will hate me if he's listening to this, and he probably is, and he maybe he's just watching and he's quiet, but the G7 is a good phone, but it lags. And I don't know about you guys, but for me, a phone that lags is a phone that's hard for me to use. And maybe I'm being bougie about it, but I feel like I'm not. Yes, I use a Pixel 4 and I use an iPhone 11 Pro, and they're very, in terms of performance, they're very well performing. They don't lag on me. I switch through apps fine, but I feel like all phones should do that. Phones shouldn't lag, because then the experience is going to be fucking awful. You know what? Have you ever used someone else's computer where the computer lagged? Oh my God, what a fucking mess. Like, I would hate to be that person that sat in front of that computer and had to use it all day. Can you imagine a heavy user of a phone where the phone lags all the time? I would lose my mind. Is that me being bougie? I really don't think so. I think for me, everybody should have a phone that shouldn't lag. That shouldn't be an issue. And they should be able to buy it at an affordable price. And like, you can sit there and be like, well, you're asking for too much, Jerome. Am I really asking for too much, that everybody should have a phone that shouldn't lag, that should be competitively priced? Like, why should everybody pay $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 for a phone? That shouldn't be a thing. It really shouldn't. And I'll sit here and I'll preach that. I'll preach that forever, because people shouldn't be paying too much for their phones. They really shouldn't. Anyway, Big House, sorry, I ranted there. But yeah, that's how I feel about it. Deepak Murthy, 350 to 500 is the price range. As I was just talking about it, is the price range all manufacturers should concentrate. We are in a global economic crisis. And you know what? You're right. And even if we weren't, I still feel like that's the price range we should be concentrating on. And maybe we will. Maybe now people are saying, no, we're not going to spend $1,000 on a phone. We're not going to spend $1,200, $1,400. Can you imagine the balls on Samsung charging $1,400 on a phone, or the S20 Plus at $1,200 for a phone? And now they're eating their words, or they're eating the prices on the phones, because now they're getting a lot of shit for it. Here's another point to make. About, I'm going to full screen this real quick. Here's another point to make on prices of phones. People can sit and they can bitch to me saying, Jerome, you complain too much about prices. Oh, you want prices to be so cheap. You want companies to pay you for the prices that you're bitching about. The balls on people to think that the balls on people to think that I should complain that everybody should pay a better price on a phone. Like, why? That would be like me. That would be like people complaining to me that I'm saying that people should get paid fairly for their job, right? That people should have a living wage where they can work 40 hours and be able to pay for their rent and, the things they need in their homes. God forbid that people are working 60 hours a week, 80 hours a week just to make ends meet. That's not fair. And for me to say somebody should get paid fairly to work 40 hours, and someone complained to me and say, Jerome, you're asking too much. Well, fuck you. I'm not asking too much. I just think that's fair. And so here's my point. When the Pixel 4 came out at $800, I've said this before, it was overpriced for a phone. $800 is way too much. And when people say that I'm asking too much, or I'm complaining that it's too much for a phone, look at what Google did. The Pixel 4 can be had for $500 now. Do you think Google could have done that when it debuted? Imagine if Google did that when of course, well, first of all, to answer that question, yes, of course, that was rhetorical. Yes, but they could have easily just priced it at $500 starting for the Pixel 4 for 64 gigs of internal storage. Because that's already, first of all, 64 gigs is too low. right? It should have been 128, but whatever. Google could have done that. They could have easily priced the Pixel 4 at $500. They're doing it now. They're doing it now. So if you guys think that I'm asking for too much, or that that I think phones should, that I'm complaining that phones should be cheaper, well, there you go. Google just took their phone that they charge $800 for and chopped it $300 off. All right. So let me scroll down. Let me see what else is going on here. Big House Production says cases and tempered glass screen protectors are a must for me. I know I am not a case guy, but I need to get a tempered glass. I need to get tempered glass from a Pixel 4 because it's so ugly right now. It really is. It looks awful on my phone. Yeah, Outplayed says every Google phone I've had has had terrible oleophobic coatings. Will, who's in my chat, usually says the same thing. And I never really noticed it with my 3. Maybe I didn't use it as much, but my 4 is awful. It looks so bad. It's so bad. Gboy888, hey, welcome to the stream, man. Nice to see you. It's automatic for me to slap a tempered glass screen protector and a case on all my phones. I think a lot of people are in that boat. I'm just not. Sal Wong says, I hate that you can't do picture-in-picture on YouTube app and iOS. I agree. I feel the same way. I use that a lot, more often than I thought I would. Zirshik, I am never going to say that right. Zirshik. God damn it. Tell me how to pronounce that so I can say it. I had a Pixel 2, 3, and 4, and now I bought the iPhone SE. It has a great camera. It does have a great camera. Have you seen my camera comparisons on the iPhone SE? Actually, let me ask you, do you see my video that I did with Neural Cam on it? Neural Cam is really good with the iPhone SE. Probably I will not buy the Pixel 5, just an iPhone 12. I hear you, man. Y2019 says, but the 855 Plus can support 5G. Yeah, I think, did you tell me this before? But maybe that's something they'll do in the, sorry, I got a buzz on my phone. I'm just looking to see. I'll get back to that later. Yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll have to do a little research on that. We'll see. Max says, hey, Jerome, hope you're good. I'm good, man. How you doing, Max? Welcome to the stream. Just had a friend ask me about getting a OnePlus 7 Pro for 450 euro, or wait for the Pixel 4a for 350 euro. He also knows quite a lot about the Gcam mod. What would you say to him? That's tough because the 7 Pro, I've never owned a 7 Pro, but I just want one for that selfie cam. Well, Max, here's the thing is we know that even with the Gcam mod, the 7 Pro is going to have a good camera with the Gcam mod, but it's still not going to do well at night. Still not going to be the best at night. I think we have to know that right off the start. We know that's going to be the thing. Max, the thing is too, is the Pixel 4a it's no matter how you look at it, the Pixel 4a is going to beat the OnePlus 7 Pro in terms of camera performance, especially in terms of low light. Maybe not day. Maybe in the day, the OnePlus 7 Pro with Gcam is going to do really well. I think it depends on your buddy. It depends in terms of performance. Like if he wants a phone, if he's more performance oriented, if he's more about like even battery life, like battery charging, the OnePlus 7 Pro is going to beat it. I think you have to take into consideration those specs. In terms of internal storage are going to be the same, but yeah. And then how important is price for him? So I maybe that might not be the best help there, but there's also the fact of support. The Pixel 4a, you're going to get Android updates quicker. Also, there are a lot of things to kind of like weigh in, but yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. Hopefully, I don't know if that answers all your questions, but hopefully that helps at least in some respect. Deepak says, Jerome, I love your honest reviews. Thank you, Deepak. I appreciate that. It means a lot to me. It really does. Zirshek says, I just realized that portrait mode on the iPhone SE 2020 is working even when you move your camera or the movie or picture. I didn't know that, or at least I didn't, but thanks for letting me know. Daniel says here, Daniel, welcome to the stream. Nice to see you, man. Daniel says, what do you think the chances are that all these high prices were set 2 years ago and they just haven't adjusted because they thought, why not? That's a good question. I don't know. You know what? I mean, the thing is, so Apple is the one that set that precedent. Apple set that precedent 3 years ago with $1,000. And once they did, then you had all of these other you had all these other Android manufacturers really try to up their game and add all this shit on their phones and then start charging prices and start charging a lot more for prices. $1,200, $1,400. But yeah, I mean, maybe this is something they thought about, but now what's happening is there's a shift. There's a shift with this $400, sector. And a lot of people are trying to compete at this $400 price point. And I think consumers are seeing that, or the manufacturers are seeing that, and consumers are eating it up. Consumers don't want to pay $1,000 for a phone. They want to pay $400. And that's why now I'm really loving this, because I get to sit here and I get to say, hey, like, we don't have to spend $1,000 for a phone anymore, because I think you might be able to buy something for $400, for $500. That's worth it. Or even if this Pixel 4a comes out for $350. Daniel, I know you have a Samsung. I forget what model you have. And I think you're in that sector too, where you want something well priced. That I think for you, I think battery is really important for you. And I don't know when you're in the market for a phone again, but it might be a time where I could be like, man, I could recommend you a phone for $350. If that Pixel 4a comes out for $350, I'll be recommending that phone all day for a lot of people. Anyway, that's a good point though. That is a good point in there. Okay, Deepak Murthy says, I can spend over $1,000 only for an iPhone because they get 4 to 5 years of updates. Google does not. That's also a really good point. That's something that, so I will say that took me a long time for me to swallow, is I would always complain about prices of a phone. And as far as prices, I would always say Apple was way too much. But then when I noticed that a lot of people kept their phones for 4 or 5 years, then I was like, man, I mean, at least people are getting their money's worth for that price. I still don't agree with $1,000, but they're still getting their money's worth at the end of the day, I think, for a lot of people. Max says, that helped me out. Cheers. Well, I'm glad it helped you out, man. I'm glad I could be helped there. Daniel says S9. Oh, I didn't know you had an S9. Why did I think you had something like a mid-tier or a mid-ranger or whatever, something cheaper? I don't know why. I thought maybe, I don't know. Anyway, S9 is a great phone. My mom uses one. Kit uses one, right? Kit uses an S9. I think or did he just get an S10? Anyway, yeah. If you were looking to upgrade, don't get an S20, not for $1,000. Although I think they just dropped it $200 because they're getting desperate to sell their phones. Stephen Anthony, I don't think I've seen you here before. Just get something like a Samsung A series, cheaper for $400. Google, Apple should stay out of the mid price range. Stephen, first of all, welcome to the stream. But I don't think, I disagree with you. I don't think Google or Apple should stay out of the mid-price range. Why would they? Why would you not want them to be in there? That's how you get competitive people to put good phones out there. The Samsung A series, the A51? The Samsung A51 is $400, but that phone apparently lags like crazy. And so to justify that is kind of hard for me, especially when you can get a phone that has stock Android, or, I mean, again, a Pixel 4a at $350, that's going to have a great camera. What is there? Why would you want them to not be in that market? I'm just curious. I'm wondering, because that's why wouldn't you want more people to compete in that price range? That's hard for me to kind of figure out why you would think that. Deepak says last year's flagships are still an excellent choice, which is why I always talk about it. That's why the OnePlus 7T at $500 US right now it's a great choice. And that's hard for me to not recommend for people who are looking at that price point, who might not have the camera as their first priority, but performance and, speed, battery, like a 7T is a great price. Douglas Manor. Hey, Douglas, how's it going, man? I don't think I've seen you in the stream before. Douglas Manor still on the Note 9. I don't plan on upgrading for quite a while. Yeah, man, there's a lot of people who need the longevity of their phones, and I hear you. Anyway, Douglas, welcome to the stream. Appreciate you stopping by. Daniel says, I try to use my phone for 3 to 4 years, always with an extra battery attached and no screen protector. There you go. Yeah, I mean, 3 to 4 years, that's a great time to have a phone, or a great shelf life for a phone. You do get your money's worth, I think, at that time. The only phone I've ever broken yeah, guys, just FYI, a while ago, a couple of years ago, Daniel dropped my iPhone 10 and cracked that screen. We worked it out, though. Selwonk, would you rather get the OnePlus 7T or the 7 Pro? If you're just talking about without, like, if we're not even talking about price, if you put two of those phones in front of my face and I had to pick one, I would say the 7 Pro because of the selfie cam. That straight out, I would do. If we're talking about prices and all that kind of stuff, then that's something that I have to look into. But right away, the 7 Pro is what I would pick. They should have kept the design of the 7 Pro with the 8 Pro. Then that way they could have differentiated themselves than every other fucking phone company out there. The 7 Pro's design is I liked it a lot. Okay, guys, we're actually going into overtime with this stream, and I'm actually doing okay right now. So I'm fine. Real quick, guys, and I haven't even said this at all during the stream, but guys, real quick, if you haven't had a chance, please feel free to like the video. Liking the video helps me in some kind of algorithmic way, aka I think it helps people find my stream. It also adds people in the chat, and you guys can have a conversation and talk, and again, it helps me out. If you guys haven't subscribed, feel free to subscribe. I stream Mondays through Fridays, every day at around 12 p.m. Central. It's actually been later lately. It's been around 1 p.m. Central, and I stream for about an hour. But we're gonna go into overtime, and I think I'm gonna keep going until I'm getting tired, but I'm feeling fine right now. So feel free, if you guys haven't, to subscribe. Appreciate it. Also, real quick, for people in the chat, if you guys haven't noticed, there are a lot of people in there with like green in their names, and they have a red Chicago star next to their names. And guys, that is because, sorry, I'm trying to get this up here. That's because they are a member of this channel. Guys, for as little as 99 cents a month, I know I sound like a salesman here, but for as little as 99 cents a month, you can be a member of this channel. You can be a member of this crew, this squad, this team, however you want to call it. All you got to do is click this join button, and you'll get that green in your name. You'll get the red Chicago star. You'll get to use custom emoji, and I get to add new custom emoji. There are different tiers. Higher tiers get you new stuff. You can get access to my private Discord. You can get access to some of my high production videos before anyone else gets to see them. Anyway, just putting that out there, guys. If it's just a way to support me, it helps me keep doing these streams daily. And either way, if you can't, it's all good. But I appreciate it either way. Just you guys coming in and enjoying the stream, it really means a lot to me. So, guys, thank you so much. But let's continue on, guys. Let's keep this going. It's kind of a marathon stream today. So let's talk about the LG. This really surprised me, and I don't know the accuracy of this. So if you guys want to chime in, if you guys know if it is accurate or not, we can talk about it. But the LG Velvet, apparently the LG Velvet isn't going to have a quad DAC. I mean, I at this point, anytime I hear LG, anytime I talk about an LG phone, there's always a quad DAC goes with it. The one thing I always talk about is that LG has, the one thing I never take away from LG is the fact that they have great audio hardware, and the fact that every time I talk about an LG, I'm like, yeah, great audio, headphone jack, and it always has a quad DAC. And these are great things for people who are audiophiles, and that's why a lot of people stick with LG. But if this is the case, why? Guys, I've talked about this LG Velvet before. It's a nice looking phone, and it has pretty decent specs on it, but I don't agree with the price point. $700 for a price point is way too much. And now they're going to take the quad DAC away from it. I'm kind of okay. So let's see here. I'm new here. Who is this? Dominic Gomez. I'm new here, but as time passes, you'll come to realize how much I covet the headphone jack. How about you guys? Do you guys still use a headphone jack? How many of you guys in here are still using a headphone jack? I mean, I do. I have wired buds right here, but I use it for this mic. Otherwise, I use my AirPods most of the time. I will be honest with you guys. I don't use the headphone jack on my phones anymore. And I'm not saying that phones shouldn't have headphone jacks. I think all phones should still have headphone jacks, especially for people who like to use it, especially for audiophiles. But for the most part, I am not a big audiophile. And I still, for the most part, I use wireless ones. But a lot of people buy LG phones because they like using the headphone jack, because they want the quad DAC in there. Okay. Yes, Bluetooth audio is light years better than it was 10 years ago. Hell, even 5 years ago, which I also agree with, because 5 years ago when I tried using wireless earbuds, there was such an audio sync on them. So like what I mean is I would put wireless earbuds on and then I would try to watch a YouTube video and there'd be like a 5-second delay and it would drive me fucking nuts. And I'd be like, why would I buy wireless earbuds? But I don't have that issue anymore. When I watch a YouTube video with wireless earbuds, the sync is on point, which is great. But nothing beats a solid pair of wired headphones or in-ear monitors, IEMs. After Apple had the quote courage, I like that. After Apple had the courage to remove the headphone jack, guys, Apple didn't have courage. They just wanted you to buy their AirPods. Just about every other OEM has fallen in line. Ironically, they usually do it after having previously made fun of another brand for doing it. You guys know that. You guys know that when Apple dropped after Apple dropped their headphone jack, then all the other companies would make fun of Apple. And then the next year, that company would also remove their headphone jack. And it was like, God, like why? Like bunch of hypocrites, you know? A lot of people weren't happy about that. And a lot of people still aren't happy with that. But yeah. While pretty much every flagship phone maker has removed the headphone jack to sell its own Bluetooth headphones, LG has not only stood true to form and kept it on all models, which is, you got to give them respect for that. In fact, LG actually often couples the 3.5mm jack with a DAC, a digital to analog converter that rivals some of the best standalone DACs. And pretty much how these DACs work is it's just the audio quality you get on that is bar none. You don't have to use an external amp or anything, an external DAC. You know, you can plug right into the headphone and you can plug right into the headphone jack on that phone and you're going to get great audio quality. The same can't be said with a lot of other phones, guys. And most people who aren't audiophiles, they're not going to notice that. But for people that are, that's the reason some people stick with an LG. The lone exception being the US version of the G6, which kept the Quad DAC in Korea and a handful of other Asian countries. From the looks of it, the forthcoming LG Velvet won't be getting the Quad DAC. The image below, taken from a phone comparison on GSM Arena, pits the Velvet left, V6 middle, and G8X right. You'll see that both the V60 and G8X have 32-bit, 192 kilohertz audio and 24-bit 192 kilohertz audio recording, while the space under the Velvet is blank. So that might just show that they might not be adding it. If true, I'm sure LG does this to save on costs. I'm glad it's moving to a different arena to find that sweet spot because they actually make really good phones. The problem as I see it is LG has become synonymous with the Quad DAC, which is what I was saying. And it's kind of expected when you see a headphone jack on its phones. A headphone jack on an LG phone without a Quad DAC would be kind of like if Google were to let an expert in Oh, wow. That's a dig. This is a good article. And usually Android guys, they don't make, at least from what I've read, they don't make the best articles, but whoever they got here is pretty good. They're saying a headphone jack on an LG phone without a Quad DAC would be kind of like if Google were to let an expert in computational photography leave. That's a dig at Google for Mark Lavoie leaving. That's a good article. The LG Velvet to remove the Quad DAC and still price it at $700. That's disappointing. That is also a gut punch to people. For people who want this new LG phone, which looks really nice, who are now thinking about paying $700, who's going to settle for like a 700 series Snapdragon chipset. But now you're also not going to get a Quad DAC. That might be a deal breaker for some people. That's a lot of money, guys. That's removing a good amount of stuff. I don't know. All right, let me go into chat real quick, just see what's up. Sorry, I'm not going to be able to go through everything here. Ronaldo, thanks for supporting. Thanks for championing that. Same as you, Big House. Thank you guys. Appreciate that. Deepak says, I'm an audio engineer and I love the LG G7 Quad DAC. Yeah, I mean, again, that's a big selling point for it. Daniel, that's what she said. I hear ya. Okay. Ronaldo says, I've been using Bluetooth audio for a while now, going on 4 years. That's a long time, just using Bluetooth audio. Y says, I still use the headphone jack. I hear ya. Big House, what? No DAC, fail. Yeah. Big House says he definitely still uses it as well. Yeah, crazy, man. So I was surprised to see that. I really was. Okay, let me see here. This next article, I don't know if I'm going to go through this. This is a long article. I am starting to kind of like teeter on like, okay, maybe it's time to wrap it up, but maybe we'll save this for tomorrow. Okay, this article though, I will talk about this since it's a bigger thing here, but it's for the iPhone 12. So this stunning throwback design showcased in a new video. I haven't seen this video. I tried watching it and then I was just like, okay, I gotta get the stream going because I was super late. This concept video shows off the phone's new design with a stainless steel frame, dual cameras, and a smaller notch at the top of the display. Again, guys, this is an iPhone 12 that's reportedly going to be priced at $650 with an OLED display with an A14 Bionic chip, smaller notch. It's going to have a great camera. It'll rival probably the best cameras that are out there. Probably 128 gigs of internal storage. And let's see this video. I'm not going to put the audio's off on here, but yeah, like this is the older kind of Apple design, which I'm a fan of. I like that older design. So it says the 5.4 inch iPhone 12 is expected to have 4 gigs of RAM, an A14 Bionic chipset, but perhaps the most exciting rumor concerns the iPhone's price or the phone's price. In a tweet last month, Front Page Tech host John Processor, yes, I know it's John Prosser. I like to call him John Processor because I keep messing that up, who has been behind some of the biggest Apple leaks of 2020, claimed that the iPhone 12 you see in the video above will retail at $649. This will be the first time that an iPhone will be priced at $650 with an OLED display, because typically their OLED displays are only saved for their Pro series at $1,000. That's $50 cheaper than the launch price of the iPhone 11 and makes the iPhone 12 one of the cheapest flagship 5G smartphones on the market when it launches this fall. And again, it brings me back to the issue of Google pricing their Pixel 5 at $700. Now, if this iPhone 12 is going to be $650 and the Pixel 5 is at $700, it's going to be a tough sell. So maybe what the Pixel 5 might do is maybe what Google will do is maybe they'll price their Pixel 5 at $650. So it's comparable with the entry level iPhone 12. But who knows? Otherwise, yeah, it's a good looking phone. I'm not going to sit here and read through the whole thing. There's not much else to talk about it. Just give you an idea of what it might look like if this is how it's going to be. So again, it looks good. I hate this goddamn notch. I'm glad that they're going to find a way to make it smaller, but we'll see when it does finally come out. So let's see here. I see. Sorry, just reading through chat. Nandu, hey man, welcome to the stream, welcome to the chat. What will the price of the Pixel 6 be if Google makes a custom chip? Well, hopefully it'll be cheaper because, everything will be in-house. Hopefully the chipset will make things faster. Hopefully it'll make the battery more efficient, but who knows what the price is going to be? I really don't know. Like Google seems to be all over the place right now when it comes to prices. And I think a lot of their prices are dictated on what Apple does, which I hate to say that. I hate to say that Google kind of like is looking to see what the pricing is on iPhones. And they kind of, I don't want to say fall in line because the Pixel 5 or the Pixel 4 was $800 compared to the $1,000 on the iPhone 11 Pro. But who knows? I don't know. Hopefully it'll still be competitive. I'd love to see 650, but who knows what it's going to be. I really don't. Anyway, Nandu, welcome to the stream. Welcome to the chat. Yeah, Deepak was saying the 5.4 inch iPhone 12 will sell out like hotcakes. And I have a hard time seeing how they're not going to be, they're going to get such a big market if they price it at $650. Max says here, I think Google should really upgrade their sensor. They use it since 2017, so it's a 3-year-old sensor. Imagine them putting on a more recent high-end version of it. I feel this kind of limits the camera. Max, 100% agree. I would have, here's the thing. If the iPhone 11 Pro, if the iPhone 11 didn't have a better camera than the Pixel 4 this year, then I might have not even said much about it. But the fact that the iPhone 11 actually outperformed the Pixel 4 in the camera department this year, especially in low light, is the reason Pixel 5 needs to step up. Are they going to change their sensor? Are they going to change their optics or the Pixel 5? I would love to see it. I would love to see them do something more this year. They need to kill it. especially if they want to price something at $700, which still boggles my mind that they would still think about releasing a Pixel 5 at $700 with a 700 series chipset. But I don't know. Okay. You know what? I am going to put this as the last article here. Just a kind of quick article. And it's about how the S20 is getting priced $200 off the market. If you guys aren't aware, the Pixel it's a lot of Pixel talk today, guys. Yeah, I am starting to feel the tiredness come in here. But this article is saying from Droid Life Suite, the Galaxy S20 is $200 off at the moment. So if you guys don't know, the Galaxy S20 started off at $1,000. That's their cheap end. The cheapest version of the S20 was $1,000. Their S20 Plus was $1,200, and their S20 Ultra was $1,400. Did any of you guys buy an S20, S20 Ultra, S20 Plus? I mean, you know, I'm not going to sit here and ask you why you bought it. I mean, it's your money, right? You know, you want to spend $1,000. It's more power to you. If you got a good deal on it, that's even better. But yeah, now it looks like they're going to sell it for $800. So to kick off the week, Amazon has discounted the S20 and S20 Plus by $200. With those price drops, we're talking a starting price of $800 for the S20 and $1,000 for the S20 Plus. So I guess that price, you can swallow that a little better. It's still a tough price to swallow, but $800 for an S20 is, yeah, it's more competitive. You can still get a OnePlus 8 for cheaper, but yeah, I don't know. They're still expensive phones. They're all still expensive phones. That's why you don't see me spending $700 on a OnePlus 8, because I still feel like that's, you know, that's still way too much. But look, these phones are still really expensive. Yeah, even with $200 discounts, but these are the US unlocked models that will work on all carriers and get 5G everywhere except through Verizon. That doesn't matter because 5G still isn't, you know, as good as it needs to be. So who cares? These are excellent phones that feature almost every damn spec in the book and then some. They have gorgeous displays, solid cameras, impressive performance, software you won't hate. You won't hate? Well, I don't know. I haven't used an S20. I'm not the biggest fan of Samsung software. I know, though, a lot of you guys have said Samsung One UI is a lot better, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I just would have to try it out and see for myself. And we'll get updates for a long, long time. Will they? 2 years of updates? Am I missing something, or are they being sarcastic? From a personal preference perspective, the smaller Galaxy S20 might be the best sized phone on the market today for those who hate all the tablet phones. It's the phone I mostly keep grabbing for when I'm done reviewing a phone because of its size, that incredible display, and the software. That's weird to see someone say the software is why they're grabbing an S20. The S20 Plus is mostly the same, only a touch bigger. No trade-ins are required here. You just get $200 off. Kellen wrote this article. I don't know. I think the S20 has great hardware. I've said this before. Their hardware is great. Their displays are great. Their cameras are also really good, but their software is something that, at least to me, has to be worked on. I'm not a big fan of their software. My ultimate dream is that Samsung would just make hardware for Google, and then Google would slap their stock Android software on there, and then they'd call it a day, and then they'd sell like hotcakes. But that's probably never going to happen. I don't know if it's ever going to happen in our lifetime. It used to happen in the past, but not anymore. So anyway, guys, I think that might be it for today's show. But guys, thank you so much. Thank you for joining. Really enjoyed the stream today. I hope you guys did too. For you guys that just came in, there is replay squad, crew, whatever you want to call it. You guys can watch this replay again when it shows up. It always comes a day late, but I will clip something from this show today. It's probably going to be me bitching about the Pixel 5, but we'll see. Anyway, guys, I do want to thank everybody for stopping by. Do appreciate it. If you guys haven't already, please feel free to like the stream. Liking the stream helps me in some kind of algorithmic way. Pretty much all I'm saying is I think liking the stream helps other people find the stream. It gets people to come in the chat, gets people to talk in the chat. And I see DB Cooper in here, just saying hi, DB Cooper. I try to say hi to all the new names I see here. Nexus, good idea. You know, I'd love to see Nexus come back, but I don't know when that day is going to come. Otherwise, DB, glad you could make it. Glad you could stop by. And guys, if you haven't already, please feel free to subscribe. I do stream Monday through Fridays, weekdays, every day, Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. Central, sometimes 1 p.m. Central, and then sometimes I'll stream longer, like today, an hour and almost 40 minutes in. And then lastly, guys, if you guys haven't, you know, if you see people in the chat and they have like green in their name and a red Chicago star next to their name, that's a badge. That's because they are a member of this channel. Guys, and a last sales thing here, to be a member of the channel, all you got to do is click that join button, and you can do so for as little as 99 cents a month. You'll get that red Chicago star next to your name. You'll get to use custom emoji, and then you'll get other perks. You'll get your name on the intros and outros of all of my streams. And that's really it. Just wanted to share that. And I think I'll leave it at that. Yeah, to do that, you just click the join button, or all you need to do also, if you can't find that join button, is to go to youtube.com/phone Jerome/join, just in case you guys are wondering, in case you want to support me in that kind of way, which I do appreciate. But I do want to thank everybody today. Want to thank everybody all the new members who did join today. Want to thank Brian for the super chat. And then just for everybody else, just engaging in chat, saying hi, saying what's up, being civil in the chat, having a good conversation. I think that's important. I think it's important to have a community that actually isn't just, you know, bitching about Apple or Android, but who can actually sit here, have a conversation, and you know, bring the important points of tech up, because I don't know everything about tech, and you know, it's nice to hear everyone else's perspective. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. And tomorrow, come back tomorrow, guys. I'll be back here again between 12 and 1 p.m. Central. We'll do it all over again. We'll talk about whatever's going on. And if not, we'll find something. So have a good one, guys. See you then.